Hello and welcome to Hypersonic Commentary. Thank you so much for watching this video and please do enjoy. So today we're just going to be talking about the whole Illymation Think Before You Sleep drama. I just want to share my take on it and maybe how he maybe could have maybe gone a little bit better at giving his feedback and maybe how all of this drama probably could have been avoided. Just in my personal opinion, I may or may not bring up some sources just to, I don't know, maybe to make this feel a little bit more official. This is my first commentary YouTube video, at least one that has been properly been done, and I just want to like share maybe because there's a lot of stuff in this whole debate, and I just want to like maybe shed a little bit of light on maybe because there were a lot of different things in this that really made this go crazy viral. I really think, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start by talking about probably the biggest thing. I will bring up the video just so you guys get an idea of what we're talking about here. So first off, I want to start out by saying that most of this video is just my personal opinion, and I just do want to say that I want to start out by saying that this is in fact my first YouTube video on this platform, and if I do make some mistakes, feel free to give me some feedback on that in the comments because I do like to make videos. It's what I've done my whole life. So um, just uh, just try and keep an open mind with everything that I'm saying here because I do want to share a little bit of perspective on what this guy is like, and some things that I do have, some criticisms that I do have for him, as well as Illymation as well. So, we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I am gonna put the video on screen here for you guys, just so you can see what we're dealing with. It gets pretty messy, so I'm not really gonna cover the really messy stuff, but I will give my feedback for the criticizer and the criticizee of this whole thing. So yeah, all right. So let's get right into it.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and for as long as I can remember, I have never been satisfied with the way I looked. I hated how my calves were too wide to fit into the boots that all the other girls had no problem wearing. I hated that squishy part under my chin that stuck out when I smiled on picture day. And I hated shopping for new clothes, even if my current ones no longer fit me. Honestly, especially if my current clothes no longer fit me. Because, according to my childhood, that meant I was fat. And based on how I was treated as a kid for being fat, that three-letter word brings back so many bad memories.
Now, I do have a little bit of sympathy and a little bit of empathy for the individual who made this video. I do think that because I also struggled with my weight for a good period of time, especially in my childhood. So I will say that that being bullied for your weight is a serious issue. In that people really should. I feel like really it really needs to be taken a little bit more seriously because that's what, in my opinion, what really leads to people, becoming uh, the way they are when it comes to the whole fat acceptance movement and everything like that. So I do think that we really should like think about what are like the connotation, like the meaning behind the word fat, because not everyone you takes this word as a derogatory. I really think that it can be used in a descriptive way, because I really think the best solution when it comes to these types of words is to really take uh the word and maybe find something maybe a little less aggressive, maybe a little less derogatory, like something along the lines of like maybe overweight, or I would say the word overweight or any kind of alternative, because I mean, I don't know. I want you guys to tell me what you think of the word fat, because I don't think it is that bad or that derogatory. I really think it's more of a descriptor, and when it really comes to, I mean, I'm kind of getting off track here, but what I'm saying to you guys is that this word, fat, it's not really a bad word. It's just a descriptor which some people have a negative experience with. So what we really should be doing is to try and understand where people are coming from when it comes to that word, because it can really, I don't know, it can worsen the trauma of those who have had bad history behind that word, and so on and so on and so on. So just like, let's just try and be understanding to those who have like this issue, and maybe try and offer advice, especially those of us who have been successful in losing weight. We really should try and help out in a friendly way to those who have the issue, like Illymation here. And I really think we can help people like this out just by being friendly and offering advice. Hey, like just being like, hey, do you need this? Do you need help? Do you want some advice from people who maybe have a little bit more experience when it comes to losing this weight? And really just, and try and not get angry over people not really knowing what they're doing, because in this country, I think there are a lot of individuals. I haven't looked it up yet, but I think I will at some point. I do think there are quite a few individuals here who don't understand the whole calories in, calories out concept. Especially me, before I actually started losing weight properly, slowly, and consistently, is when I really discovered the calories in, calories out. And I had no idea that so many of the foods I was eating were healthy, but they were extremely calorie dense, and that's why I was not losing weight and even gaining once in a while. So now I think, now that I shared a little bit of like a solution, maybe for this particular part of the video, I will get into the next few parts. um, I don't think I will cover too much of Think Before You Sleep in this video, but I might come back and I will maybe make a part two and kind of go over what he said, and maybe how we can try and just be a little bit nicer about the whole situation if we just try and come together as a fitness community and try and help out those who are really struggling, because I know how frustrating it can really be to see the number go up on the scale or not go down or stay the same, especially if we're trying to lose weight and not maintaining it and things like that. So let's just, and I feel maybe we can just do a little bit better than we have. So let's just try and think about that as we move on to the next parts of this video, on maybe how much, and how much how much you're eating and how much you're exercising. And let's like talk about and let's just talk about my experience with losing weight, and see if maybe we can help her out with the whole situation she's in right now. And I really think we can move on, and let's get into this video, to the next part.
I started dieting. I found a gym, I found a personal trainer, and I got to work. And after a month of working out for 3 days a week, 45 minutes at a time, doing cardio, abs, arms, legs, as well as going to cycling and or yoga class once a week for an hour, I lost 0 pounds? How? I was doing everything right. Calories in, calories out.
She said specifically, I understand calories in, calories out. However, if you understand what calories in, calories out is, there's a possibility that you might not actually understand. Because calories in, calories out, what it means is that it means that you understand how many calories your body burns in a day. So, if you're shorter, like you could be, I don't know, but you could be. It looks like you're pretty short. If you're shorter, you burn less calories in a day. And I do want to say, if your dietitian is not, if you might want to be a little bit more skeptical of your dietitian, because it sounds kind of like she doesn't really know a lot of what she is talking about. You want to make sure your dietitian doesn't just talk about nutrition, but also talks about how many calories your body burns in a day. Because if you don't understand that, you could be eating more or less calories than you're supposed to be. What you could be doing right now is you might understand it, but you're probably eating at maintenance calories, which means you're not at a deficit at all. So if you're not in a calorie deficit, you're not gonna lose weight. So you gotta understand that what you really gotta do is you gotta first make sure you are in a calorie deficit, then make sure you are eating the right foods, then you gotta make sure, hey, if I'm gonna have a treat night once in a while, because Think Before You Sleep has shown in your socials that you have been having treat days. And if you have a treat day, you've got to make sure how many calories is in that treat. Otherwise, if you don't know, you could be way overdoing it and not even realize it, which is actually the case for me a lot of the time. Is that you is that I will is I'll order a pizza or something like that, but it actually turns out that in that pizza is 2100 calories. And then I mess up my progress for almost the entire week, and then I don't lose weight for that week. So you really gotta make sure, am I in a deficit? Do I trust my dietitian? And am I burning enough calories in my workouts? Which it can be like there's a possibility that you are not, because you are doing very miscellaneous workouts. Things like arms, legs, a lot of strength training, which is really for people who struggle with gaining muscle, which I don't think is your concern. You don't look anorexic. You look like you've got some fat that needs to be rid of, but you don't look like you need to build muscle. That isn't to say that you don't need protein. Protein is very important. That intake is super important for everyone. But be sure that you really know what you're doing. Always, 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 always be skeptical. Is this too good to be true? Because sometimes it is. Especially like if you're looking at labels, you got to make sure how many servings are in the container, because nutrition facts only share the amount per serving. So be mindful of that. When you are doing your grocery shopping, check your healthy foods. Even if they're healthy, there's always a possibility of certain kinds of oils, especially with different kinds of nuts like cashews, almonds, things like that. If you've got things like palm oil or cottonseed oil, those oils can really add calories, and they can also be just in general bad for your health, especially heart health. So be careful with that. And I think I covered everything. I just want to make sure that we know, I recognize that you said I did everything right, and that is, unfortunately, that's not true, because if you did, you would have lost weight in the month, at least 2 to 4 pounds in that month. So if you didn't lose anything, either you might have lost weight, but it was just water weight that was still there after you lost the weight, or you actually aren't losing weight, which is likely the case because you said later on in the clip that you went several months with proper diet, um, calorie deficit, and exercise and you didn't lose anything. So just try and keep an open mind, clarify with your dietitian and your personal trainer, and make sure you're doing the right exercises, eating the right amount of calories, and portioning your foods properly.
This was proof that all the workouts I was doing was enough. Maybe this was proof that all my body really needed was a little more stretching, a little more strength, and a nice walk every now and then to make me feel better. And maybe, as weird as it may sound, maybe this was proof that my body and other people's bodies don't need to be less fat to be considered healthy.
No, not necessarily. Um, I do want to stress that if you really are, um, uh, if you are struggling with your weight, I really think it's important that you get your A1C checked, because that is extremely important if you are struggling with your weight. Because you could, if you're not careful and you just eat whatever, you could end up in a situation where you are pre-diabetic and you could be at risk for diabetes. So just keep doing what you're doing and just be more careful. Be more, just try and understand that it's not necessarily enough to just eat whatever you want. I will say that. Um, just like, I don't know how to say this, but like really pay closer attention to those labels. And if you're eating things that are particularly high calorie, um, just just like just be more careful. Look into things. Be suspicious. Talk talk to your healthcare professionals. Ask questions and don't give up, because if you do, you could end up like those people on My 600 Pound Life who died because of obesity. So don't give up. Just keep doing those exercises. Don't try to eat whatever you want. Just, and I'm not saying don't eat junk food forever. What I'm saying is, if you're going to treat yourself, be careful. Um Use good fashion. Um Take feedback. Ask questions to your healthcare professionals, and just keep going.